alphabetical order? Yeah. It is. We're only at the E's.
Yeah.
Did Robbie just ask you if it was in alphabetical order? What was your first clue, Rob? What'd you guys think?
Let's go.
Thought that while this is running, since it takes a long time, and even after we get to the end of it, it'd be nice to do a little Q&A now that you guys have finally seen it. Yeah. Where do you want to start?
Probably with a question.
Sure.
The Q.
Sure. Does it? Okay.
Michael has a...
Also, I think we're going to be fine without a mic. I think we'll be fine without a mic. Just stand up and ask your question.
Yeah,
that's it. I see you right there. This is the first one after the first premiere.
No pressure.
And if you ask us for a selfie, I'm just gonna...
So this stemmed from you guys not working together like on The Flash or Arrow, even though you had like a scene together in The Flash. How was it to finally work together and speak together as well?
I mean, I think part of why it was so cool was because it was on our own terms, and we got to, talk about the scenes and the characters and everything before we shot them, and really got to make them our own. And that's rare in any movie or TV show you make. So that was really special, and I think it would have been fun no matter how we finally got to work together, but this just made it that much better because it was ours and because it was with friends and family. But it was great. It was really fun. We were really close when we were young, and then we kind of lost touch because Steve's much older than I am. And then we became, really close again when I moved to LA, but then Steve moved to Vancouver, and I would only see him every once in a while. So this was really nice. We got to spend the summer together, hanging out, making a movie with, lifelong friends. So it was, you kind of couldn't lose.
Yeah, I also, didn't really know, we did have that one night on The Flash together, but it was literally one night. And I hadn't worked that much with Robbie, so I really didn't know that much about his process. And, it might have been similar to mine, or it might have been an inch shorter. No, but I didn't know how much. I didn't know much about, like, again, your process too, and it turns out that it was very similar, and it was just great. It was a lot of fun, a lot of fun. You never know what a scene partner is going to be like. And it could have been really awkward if it was bad. Next question. Yes. Oh no, you beat.
Was that really you driving that garbage truck? Or was that your driver?
Everybody, that's Michael. He's the first guy that I met in Vancouver. I've spent more time with him over the past 7 years than I would care to admit. No, that was me. That was me. And they tried to give me a lesson, and I told them to fuck off.
You can tell it's him because he hit the street sign behind him.
Hey, wait.
That's not a prop.
Wait.
That's a street sign that we had to replace.
It was very expensive. It was thousands of
First question. Is that true?
Oh, yeah.
I thought I was supposed to hit it. Is that true?
It was honestly, we would have never gotten permission to hit it. So the fact that you did, we were like, this is a miracle. We put it in the movie, and then we asked for forgiveness, and the city was like, you're gonna have to pay for a new street sign. And we actually bent it back up, and we figured the city wouldn't notice. They noticed.
I swear to God, I am finding this out for the first time right now. I really, actually, legitimately thought that I was supposed to hit it. They did try to give me a lesson, though, on how to drive the truck, and I didn't react that well. There must be a question for... Okay, yes, I see you up there, the gentleman that stood up. Yes.
So this was tonally very different from the short film, which seemed to have almost like a slightly... a lighter tone, I guess, to the characters. I guess my question is, what made you want to make The Departed meets the X-Men?
That's kind of what we were going for.
work for you?
Absolutely. It was very unexpected, but absolutely, yes.
Well, I mean, I was involved in the short film, but it probably had something to do with the platform as well, right? Because we had to put the short film on.
I actually think that the short film was really helpful because and I can't take credit for this myself. It was like I work along with working with Robbie and Steven. We also have Chris Pare, who is a genius and someone who makes me look way really smart. So we always had this idea of doing a crime drama that's set in a world where people have powers and there's some sci-fi elements, but all of that stuff would play in the background. And we wanted to treat kind of the emotional truth of this movie very real, in a real way. So, it kind of evolved from the short film to the feature, and, I'd like to be like, it's exactly, when we started off, this is exactly what we made. We knew the direction that we wanted to go into, but when we make a movie, it kind of evolves and grows over time, and it kind of grew into this. So, I'm happy with how it turned out, and for me, it's really more of an evolution of the short, if that makes any sense.
The name of the bank teller.
I don't remember what the bank teller's name.
Yeah, what's her name?
Emily? Not me.
That's probably Chris Pare.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mostly, something that really stood out to me while watching the film was just representation. I was amazed that there was ASL in it, and that was like so cool to me. But also that there was a non-binary individual as well, and that the use of the they and their pronouns was just ingrained into it. I'm a member of the LGBTQ community myself, and I have such respect and just gratitude for being able to see that represented in a genre that typically ignores the LGBT community. It doesn't have that much representation in it. So just to have it folded in a way where it just felt so natural too. It wasn't like an element of the story. It was just, there for those who don't get to really see themselves. So just thank you for all those involved that made the film in that way, because it just meant so much to the community as well. Thanks.
Yeah, that means a lot.
Thank you.
So with the unique way that you guys funded this film and that experience that you guys went through together, bringing it together with all these different people and getting us all involved and crowdsourcing, things like that, are you going to do a project like this again in that sort of method? Did it turn you on to that method, or?
I mean, it has been an unbelievable experience from start to finish, and we're just really starting to enjoy some of the perks of it, like getting to share the movie with you guys now that it's finally finished. And it has been a long time, but that's, kind of what it takes when you're calling in a lot of favors and trying to make something that is a lot bigger and more ambitious than most independent films are. But we're not done with this one yet. So we're seeing what we can do with it over the next few weeks, and what it may evolve into, whether it's sequels or something else. So once we're finished with that, we'll try and figure out what the next one is.
I mean, all three of us are Canadian, so there is also the element of once you wrap principal photography, or once you even begin principal photography, it's almost like a proof of concept for myself and for Jeff and for Robbie that we can do this. So whether that's a continuation of this story or exploring another one, the fact that we've, it was always going to be fantastic to get it made, but the fact that we think it's pretty good, it's just kind of icing on the cake. Yes, in the front row of the balcony, yes.
So I love the last fight scene in the film. I just wanted to know, like where everyone was going to be standing, the actual acting, the stunts, and all the special effects that went into that. How challenging was that to do? Because it turned out really cool.
That was the most fun scene. That was great. We had a blast. When it's interesting, the other guy up there that mentioned The Departed, when we talked about the action in the movie, we wanted it to hit hard and be, real and grounded, but still have this genre element. So you've got a guy who, can take bullets to the chest, but he's not invincible. So, finding these little things and cool ways to kill characters or to be able to hurt characters was a lot of fun for Jeff and for Chris and for Steve and I kind of explore and try and figure out what would be cool visually, what would make sense in this world storyline wise. And then just getting to do a fight scene with Steve was super cool. It's like, family team up.
Yeah, I also have a list of things that I've never been allowed to do on Arrow that I want to do. It's 6 pages long. I think we got to cross off like 1 or 2 in this movie. I actually turned to Jeff when we were shooting that. When we were shooting this, the first take that we did was our A-camera operator, and it was just he was just handheld and just following it around. And I watched the entire thing from start to finish. I swear to you, we shot the entire thing, including the stabbing and all that stuff. And I looked at Jeff and I go, I think we got it. Can we go? And Jeff laughs. I was dead serious. I thought we had it, but I liked, a little other stuff that went into it. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Any other question? Oh, yes. Yes.
So, you got a new world now. Do you guys think of this as a film or as a franchise? I mean, you've got a world now that you've created.
What did you think?
Well, you left it open.
I mean, we want to make a movie. Here's the thing: is I think when you look at a lot of these, you never want to go in this making like, hey, I'm going to make a trilogy, or you're going to make like a giant franchise. I think we've seen a lot of people do that, and this is a story that we think we feel works as a film. It's self-contained, and we didn't leave anything on the table. We played every card we had, and I think that was really exciting for us. Whatever happens after this, we've had a great time making it. Yeah. Whatever happens after this is kind of up in the air, but I think part of this is like, we had a really unique opportunity to have an audience come and be a part of the creation of something. So we're hoping that through you guys and through the reaction to this film, we continue growing that, and that's going to afford a bigger opportunity for us to maybe explore this further.
Considering both of you kind of come from the DC universe and have experience with people's abilities, what abilities, since you kind of are looking forward into the future, what would you like to see come up in the next potential?
How big's the budget?
Hey, Reggie, how big is your budget?
We've always talked about keeping it pretty grounded. Like, obviously, some characters are a lot more powerful than others, but everybody has their weaknesses. Like, unless you're Rhino, you're gonna get a bullet's gonna take you out. And if you are him, then we'll find a way to do it. But we don't want anybody levitating a stadium. First of all, we can't afford it, and
we don't have the money.
Second, I love big superhero movies. I'm a huge Marvel and DC fan, but at the same time, I think it's something that a lot of people have seen do almost everything out there. Like, a lot of these big citywide destructive fight scenes, they don't fool people anymore. They can look amazing, but I think there's something about keeping things grounded that can trick you a little bit more to like, wow, I wonder how much of that was visual effects, how much of that was real, just things that can keep it feeling a little more down to earth.
Yeah, I mean, concurrently, as someone that spent a year talking about how he was going to be on the superhero show with no powers. Just don't be too definitive, okay? Let's do a couple more. Yes, in the back left corner, yes.
Hi. First off, thank you on behalf of all the people who contributed. That was excellent.
Oh, thank you.
But also, in light of the fact that it is a Canadian filmed movie, how excited would you be if it got nominated for the Canadian version of the Oscars? Or because I know the Leos just recently did all their nominations, so I follow that type of stuff up here. So.
Anybody that likes it is a huge win for us.
I'll take Annie's sword.
Yeah. Something like that would be cool. I mean, first and foremost, we made this for and with you guys. So as long as you liked it, we're really happy. something like that would just be, you know, a nice pat on the back. But so a movie like this, we kind of make for the fans. So
and for ourselves, and you know, this is
of course
that we wanted. It's like, you know, when we talk about this, it's like let's make something that we want to watch, right? So, you know, all of that kind of stuff is awesome, and you know, I certainly would be, you know, if any of that stuff happened on that front, it would be really flattering and really grateful for it. But you know, it's also kind of not the reason why you make this kind of stuff, right?
No, of course.
But yeah, thank you so much for bringing it up. Really appreciate that.
There was one, yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering actually, I've seen him playing a character that has no superpowers, and now you have superpowers. Did you have any input into what type of power you have, and how fun was that for you?
I didn't really have any input, but in the early version of the script, I didn't have any powers. And so it wasn't like, you know, hey Jeff, hey Chris, you know, I want to be able to do this. It was more like, hey Jeff, hey Chris, come on.
What version of the script did you read where you didn't have any power?
I don't know. I remember having a discussion at some point where I didn't. I distinctly remember this because I remember my reaction.
I will say,
I remember leaving the room.
This library, I was like, I want to Darth Vader someone. And if you watch the movie, you know.
Yeah, I was originally supposed to. I was originally supposed to shoot him,
That's
and I just go, can't I just crush his throat with my hand?
It was much better. It was way better.
Yes, all the way up there.
So with at the end there, I noticed that it said that in partnership with Crave or something. So are we going to be seeing this on like Crave soon at some point? Or are we going to see it in the movie theater?
So in order to make the movie with Telefilm, which was our Canadian partner, you have to, this is when you just get into some of the business side of it, you have to sell Canadian rights. So Elevation, which you saw at the very beginning, owns our theatrical rights, and Bell, which owns Crave, owns our video on demand rights in Canada. Nothing has been decided yet about how it will be released on either platform.
Really early.
Yeah.
You guys may.
This won't be out for a little while.
Yeah.
On that note, okay, we do really appreciate, you know, if you liked the movie, say that you liked the movie, but, you know, to take it from someone who has developed an ulcer over the years because of spoilers, it would be really, really wonderful to allow everyone else, whenever it may happen, to enjoy the movie in as much of a fresh and unspoiled way as all of you have. So I trust everyone in this room, and if not, we do have your information to you.
I mean, don't we?
Yeah. And NDAs were signed.
Oh yeah, NDAs too.
There was one, yes.
We live in a time, particularly in the United States, where there's the us and the them and a huge division, which seemed like a theme in this movie. And I'm wondering if it was conscious or is it just me?
I know it's very conscious. I mean, I think, you know, with this movie, first of all, when you do this type of movie, the most important thing for me is I want to make a movie where, you know, people are entertained, right? So like that's my job. You know, that's a contract of everyone who comes in here or anyone who watches this on whatever they watch it on, whether it be theater or at home. You know, my job is to tell them a story that connects with them emotionally. I think the cool thing about this story, and one of the things we're trying to do is we wanted to kind of reset the board. So a lot of what's going on right now in the world is very polarized, you know, especially geographically. Our thing is a thing where, you know, we're using, you know, the allegory of people with powers and people who don't have powers as a way to explore this in a way that's not as, you know, divisive as just making a movie straight up about things that are happening in the world, you know, because it's a time where people are very polarized. So my hope with Code 8 and my hope with what this movie does is something that doesn't matter where you're from, doesn't matter, you know, what your affiliation or what your lens in the world is like, you know, you will be able to watch this and be able to empathize and relate with some of the things that the characters are going through. So from that level, that's what we're trying to do, but we certainly weren't trying to preach one way or the other as well, or tell people that they're right or wrong.
Great job.
Thank you.
Building on that question, did you guys ever consider adding
seemed that everyone was either coward or not, good or bad, but there was obviously this normalization that you were trying to drive at. And so did you consider putting a non-powered individual on the team to show that this wasn't about people with powers and not it was just the downtrodden versus everyone else?
We actually had that conversation, and at times there were characters that we had people. Well, I mean, for instance, Park's daughter is powered. Obviously, she's not a cop, but I think we kind of wanted to touch on the lines being crossed a little bit. At the same time, with a movie, you only have so much real estate. You're constantly fighting against the amount of time you have to set up and tell a story. I think for this first one, it wasn't a conscious decision. It just happened to play out in that way, but it's certainly something as we, if I ever got the chance to evolve the story, we would kind of delve into the gray zone and the conflicts, on that front a lot more.
Two more. We'll go one more in the balcony and then. Yes.
Yes. What can we expect from the Blu-ray? Like, are we expecting deleted scenes, extended edition, anything else, and maybe another?
No.
Extended edition.
No,
the uncut was an hour 50.
Yeah, the extended edition was terrible. It was like my first cut. It was extended all right. It was.
We watched the first time we ever watched a cut of it was last year. We were in Amsterdam, and we basically had to tell Jeff to stop talking and just start the movie. You know what I mean? It's like, well, but this, Jeff.
I left.
Watch it.
I left.
He did. He walked away.
I left. I was like, just text me when it's done.
Oh man.
It was still pretty good. Jeff was really hard on himself.
So bloopers for sure. We definitely have a blooper reel.
Michael, you know more about this. You were a lot of behind the scenes, weren't you?
Yeah, we've got some behind the scenes.
We have some behind the scenes. Deleted scenes. Listen, they're deleted for a reason because they're not good. All right, they're bad. I'm kidding.
Not our scenes.
No.
All right, let's do one more. Somebody up here. No.
No last questions? All right, last question.
What will be next part? It will be the revolution, uprising, what idea?
I don't know.
I mean, well, we have no, I think, if we're lucky enough to be able to continue telling the story, it's kind of one of those things like you bring the team back, you sit down. I talk to Robbie and Steven and Chris. We all get in a room. We talk about what are the things we want to explore, and then you kind of build it from there. Again, when we were making this movie, we were like, let's just tell a great story. Let's leave it all on the table. Let's not try to save anything or plan for something that's bigger. I've seen way too many studio films that are supposed to be trilogies, and the first one kind of feels like a pilot episode or something. It needed more. So we don't know yet, but it's a good question. I asked myself that.
Thanks a lot, guys. I hope you liked your movie. Now we're gonna do our photo ops outside. So the easiest way we think to do this is anybody with a black wristband exit through this side